Let's go to Northern Ireland. Our reporter there, Dougie Beattie, has returned to a farm you visited a year ago there. And talk us through, Dougie, with the farmer, the lad who owns the farm. What's changed since?
Yes, good morning, Eamon. Good morning, Isabel. Yes, it has been a year since I joined GBNews, and this was one of the first things that I reported on, and it was the price of nitrogen, the price of fertilisers, the price of grain, etc. And Sammy Hanna is the farm owner, and this morning I did something that I haven't done in years. I was in the milking parlour milking a cow. So, Sammy, just tell us a little bit about what has changed in this year.
Inputs have increased dramatically. Yes, our outputs, our milk prices have risen, but the price of inputs has increased twofold, threefold in some cases. Diesel, heating oil, electric, all our major inputs has really increased drastically.
Well, we spoke about the price of fertiliser last year, and it was rising then to about £400 a tonne. What did it get to?
It peaked for straight nitrochalk. It was peaking at £1,000. It's back now to £740 a tonne. That is.
And what does that do for the yield of the grass?
Well, without fertiliser, yes, you can cut back, but without the true amounts of fertiliser that we need, you're only skimping back and cutting your production back, which you can't do with a dairy herd.
Well, a lot of people now are taking the straw and chopping it and putting it into the ground and so forth to try and get the nitrogen back. Is that effective?
It's effective to a degree, but probably more effective being used for bedding and cattle and their nutrients being put into it and spread as dung onto the ground rather than straight from the straw.
Now that brings us into a lot of European legislation in and around the spreading of dung and fertilisers. I mean, what can we be doing now to try and help that?
Well, we'll have to try and bank our grass. Come the 15th of this month, we're not allowed to sow chemical fertiliser after that. You see, a perfect morning like this morning, we can't farm by dates. You could get another 2 months good growing here. We had 2 months very poor growing, very dry. Weather everywhere was burnt up. The grass hasn't grew the way it should have, but if we had a good back end, we could end up with potentially 2 months of good growing, which you can't feed with fertiliser.
Where do you see the prices of this going, and has it settled in this year? I mean, have we already made the food for next year?
No, we haven't near enough food for the incoming season. We haven't anyway. It's always going to have a knock-on effect with people cutting back, not sowing as much fertiliser. They don't have as much silage prepared for the winter's feed.
Well, there you go, Eamon. There you go, Isabel. Isabel, you said about standing at the back end of a cow. I don't know if they floated those pictures this morning. I was underneath the wrong end of a very effective grass-eating machine.